Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
A major fire at a home in Inkster leaves an infant severely burned. Now doctors working to save their life. Thanks for joining us here at noon, everybody. I'm Jason Colthorpe.
And I'm Rhonda Walker. The first calls came in just after 7 o'clock this morning at the home on Dartmouth Street near Princess Avenue. Victor Williams is there live today. And Victor, you heard from family members about exactly what happened.
Yeah, Rhonda and Jason, this whole thing is just horrible when you think about the fact that it's a baby that has now been injured as a result of this fire. Take a look right behind me. You can see just how devastating this fire was as investigators are up there doing this investigation. But once again, multiple people were inside when this fire broke out, including the baby that was mentioned. Family members, when this happened, as you can imagine, were just devastated. A lot of them telling me that multiple people were actually severely hurt when this took place. That baby now has burns over half of its body. Last we've been told was that the baby was going in and out of consciousness, but it was taken to the hospital. The father also was severely burned. The grandmother, who was also in the home, tells us more.
I heard something go whoosh, you know. We didn't know the house was on fire at the time, but when he went up the stairs, it was like black, you know, and he was up there and he ran and I could hear him hollering like, oh, my baby, oh, my baby. I'm like, what's going on, Arthur? What's going on? I'm going up the stairs with my flashlight on my phone, and then I can see him rolling down with baby Harmony, and she's burnt, like 60% of her whole body. I was like, oh, my God.
And once again, the cause of the fire is still under investigation, but doctors are doing all that they can to save baby Harmony. And coming up at 5 p.m., we'll be talking to more of the family members about this tragic situation. Live in Inkster, Victor Williams, Local 4.
Boy, it certainly is. All right, Victor, we will hear much more from you today on that story. Turning now to the search for a missing Detroit teenager. We've learned Detroit Police Chief James White is going to hold a press conference today in about an hour to provide an update on this investigation. 13-year-old Naziah Harris was last seen in the area of Cornwall and 3 Mile Drive January 9th. Yesterday, DPD says Chief White received a briefing from the Police Authority of the Detroit Public Schools regarding the disappearance.
The Detroit Police Department is ramping up efforts to de-escalate situations without violence. Part of that movement includes getting a batch of 20 tether-like restraints that wrap around a person's torso or legs. This is after Detroit City Council approved a more than $30,000 contract. We're told that these restraints are going to be used to de-escalate situations without using lethal force. We also have more on these restraints and exactly how they work. We'll have that tonight on Local 4 News at 6. But one of the targets is for mental health situations. The race to fill Michigan's open Senate seat just got a little more interesting because former Detroit Police Chief James Craig is now ending his campaign. Craig called it a business decision. He retired as Detroit's police chief in 2021 to pursue a run for governor of the state of Michigan. According to several reports, Craig is now considering running for Detroit's mayoral election next year.
A verdict in the $370 million civil fraud case against presumptive Republican nominee for president Donald Trump expected by the end of the week. NBC News learning the judge could issue his decision as early as Friday. A judge already ruled Trump and his executives engaged in fraud. He now needs to decide on the issue of intent and what penalties Trump and his company should pay.
Happy Valentine's Day. And it's not just a holiday for significant others. You can show some love to your friends, your family, and of course, your pets.
Absolutely. There are some events happening in Detroit today doing just that. The first one tonight at Paquette Square for veterans that live there. The Detroit Deltas and the Detroit Area Agency on Aging providing a free dinner there.
And on the pet front, friends of the Detroit Animal Animal Care will host a special dog adoption event. It takes place at Detroit Animal Care right there on Chrysler Drive, the I-75 service drive, from 4 until 6 p.m. today. I should say 4 till 8 p.m. today, and that is free and will offer doggy speed dating to allow you to get to know the dogs before you decide to take them home.
Good girl, good girl. Do you like me? Do you like me? Okay, no. Next one. Hey, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
Slow down here. Let's get to know each other first.
You know what? Leave it up to the dogs. They know immediately if they like you or not.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Let's get a check of the forecast here on Valentine's Day. Perfect if people are taking in dinner tonight or a late lunch, whatever it is today, Ashley.
That's right. So if you're going to be out and about, the forecast is dry today. As far as the wintry mix that's heading our way, it times out well for Valentine's Day. Maybe not the case if you're a late morning driver come tomorrow, and we'll talk more about that. But we do have a rain-snow mix that will arrive tomorrow morning. A lot of that will be out of here into the afternoon, but it'll be impactful nonetheless, especially if you're in one of our northern communities that'll get more snow out of this system. We have a few flakes that'll continue to fly come Friday and Saturday, but that won't amount to much accumulation. Tomorrow is really the big weather maker. As we take a live look outside at Metro Airport at this noon hour, we sit at 34 degrees, a mix of some sun and clouds there and a light southerly breeze. Ann Arbor's at 35. Look at that train going by. 30 degrees in Lapeer, 36 in Monroe. Once again, northwesterly winds elsewhere besides Metro Airport that has that light southerly wind. So clouds and radar showing that we had a little bit of lake effect snow bands coming off of Lake Michigan, kind of very similar to yesterday, but that fizzled out before it made its way to Metro Detroit. In fact, we've had a few breaks in the clouds throughout the late morning into the afternoon. So your forecast for the rest of the day, we will have that sunshine sticking around, upper 30s for the afternoon high and light winds, but stick around with us in just a few minutes. We'll talk more about tomorrow's winter mess.
And as we brace for that mess, millions of Americans already digging out from a powerful nor'easter. Emily Akeda is in Randolph, New Jersey with the latest.
Hey there. Well, it might be hard to make out, but I'm actually walking on the sidewalk in this Randolph neighborhood, buried by nearly a foot of snow, much like the rest of this community. And other parts of the Northeast actually saw even more snow than that. 15 inches of snow recorded in parts of Pennsylvania, here in New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut as well. And it made for a nightmare both on the roadways and at airports. Police reporting several thousand accidents across several states because the roadways were at times so treacherous from this monstrous snowstorm. And then you look at the airports, more than 1,200 flights had been canceled yesterday. You look at LaGuardia in New York alone, more than a third of the flights there had been canceled. And one of the big concerns today is this bitter cold that is moving in. Wind chills here expected to be in the teens. And so with the remaining slush and the remaining snow, it could be quite icy still on the roads, at least for the next several hours. Now, while we saw this massive snowstorm move in and bring in a ton of snow, some of the most snow that some people have seen in a matter of years, you look at cities like New York City, Boston, Newark, they are still seeing more than a foot less of snow, the average snowfall for the season. I'm Emily Akeda in Randolph, New Jersey, NBC News.
Well, despite this nor'easter, snow totals for this season are well below average throughout much of the Northeast, with places like Syracuse in New York and Erie, Pennsylvania running upwards of 50 inches behind their averages.
Today, as part of Ash Wednesday, St. David's Episcopal Church is at it again, offering ashes to people without the need to even get out of their car. On Ash Wednesday, marking an ashen cross on the foreheads of believers. Of course, typically with most churches, it's performed during a church inside, but for the beginning of Lent, St. David's Episcopal Church has always offered drive-thru ashes. The church has been offering the service for 9 years now.
When we first started this, it was, some of us were kind of chuckling, saying, who would want to drive through to get ashes? And we had maybe 50 or so people that first year, but it's up to 400, 500, 600 people every year coming through.
That is a lot of people. St. David's Episcopal Church is offering the ashes until 6 p.m. today, so plenty of time to head out there.
Everything's better with drive-thru, I feel like.
Right.
Doesn't matter. Single game tickets for your Detroit Tigers are now on sale. Take a look at Comerica Park, where I've been saying it all morning. The grass looks better than most of our yards do in June. Come on.
Do that?
They're amazing. I'm sure there's a little paint involved, but still, it looks amazing. Opening day is Friday, April 5th. Tigers hosting Oakland that day. Today, though, Tigers pitchers and catchers reporting for spring training down in Lakeland, Florida.